In mind, Ken Paxton might not even be the most controversial Texas Republican running in 2026. Let me introduce you to the race for the U.S. House of Representatives in Texas's 23rd Congressional District, the West and South Texas District, which spans from El Paso all the way to San Antonio, was represented by former Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez, who you may remember resigned from office earlier this year after it was revealed he had an affair with an aide who later committed suicide. The person Texas Republicans chose to replace a Republican forced to resign is a man named Brandon Herrera, a YouTuber who goes by the AK Guy online. New York Times columnist Michelle Goldberg recently wrote this about Brandon Herrera. Because this is a family newspaper, I cannot quote the piquant term that Brandon Herrera, a Republican House candidate in Texas, used to refer to children in a 2023 video, nor, alas, am I allowed to repeat the obscenities that Herrera, a gun influencer, used to explain why the opinions of mothers are without value. I can, however, tell you about the Nazi and eugenics stuff. In a 2022 video, Herrera and a buddy in sunglasses and a balaclava tested a Nazi-era submachine gun, then goose-stepped to a Nazi marching song. Herrera called the weapon the original ghetto blaster. In a 2024 podcast, after calling for abolishing Social Security, he joked that we should also abolish old people, laughing along as his co-hosts riffed about killing them off, as in the cult horror film Midsommar. A House Republican nominee who uses sexually obscene words in describing children, who attacks mothers, who wants to end Social Security, who jokes about wanting to end the elderly, who, for what it's worth, are the most reliable voters in every American election, in addition to lots of racist and anti-Semitic stuff. And Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson is actively fundraising and campaigning for this guy. We can look forward to Mike Johnson being asked which of those opinions he agrees with. Herrera is running against Democrat Katie Padilla-Stout, a San Antonio mom, attorney, and former teacher. And Katie Padilla-Stout joins us now. She is the Democratic nominee for Texas's 23rd Congressional District. So, Katie, I want to understand what your conversations with voters are like right now. I think the contrast is pretty clear, just when you look at his record and his resume. But this is also a red district, and it's never easy for Democrats in that part of Texas to campaign and to connect with some of the voters there who in recent cycles have just been so taken away from the Democratic brand. So for you, what has this moment went, and what do these conversations look like?
Well, these conversations are happening all over the district and every single day. People are coming up and saying, I've never voted for a Democrat, but I am excited to vote for you. Or I've never voted for a Democrat, and I don't know that I can do that, but what I'm not going to do is cast my ballot for this individual, which is also a valid choice. And so we are having these conversations with people day in and day out. Has this district been red under Tony Gonzalez? Absolutely. Have we gone back and forth between making it a blue district and a red district? Yes. But one thing we've never done is make it an extreme district. We have had Republicans like Will Hurd. We have had Democrats like Pete Gallego. We have had a moderate representation for this moderate district that has hardworking people, that is focused on family, affordability, and the American dream.
You know, one of the other dynamics in your district is, and there are people, I think, in many parts of the country who may not be aware that this is going on in Texas, but there's this whole border wall fight. Landowners in the area being asked to give up land so that border wall construction and projects and new roads and all this stuff can be built by the Trump administration. And it seems like Trump just keeps betraying some of the very people who put him and all of his allies and the people that he's endorsed into office. And I wonder, as you see just from the federal level on down to the local level, like what's going on with this guy Herrera, if you're seeing a real enthusiasm issue, because you said it there, that it might not always be the case that someone flips back to blue from being red, but maybe they're just going to stay home.
I think that voter motivation is going to be incredibly hard for the Republican Party, especially in these midterms. I will tell you that at our rallies with Gina Hinojosa, we are out campaigning with other Texans, other Democrats, they are excited. They are incredibly motivated. I can't tell you how many times people will come up and say, I just cannot wait for the polls to open. Let the polls open. Let me at the polls. Let's do this. And so that enthusiasm is going to be really hard for them to overcome when they are not giving their voters or their constituents much to be excited about.
So I spelled out there that Mike Johnson is helping Herrera out. Do you feel the National Democrats, that they've got your back right now?
I do. I feel that the National Democrats are absolutely behind us. I think that we are going to continue to gain their support and their enthusiasm for this race as we see that the motivation is building, that the energy is building, and it is not just about the 23rd. This is about the entire country. This is about having a majority to hold the House and the Senate in a comfortable way. This is a fight for all Democrats, all independents, all reasonable people who want to bring compassion and competency back to our leadership.
Leah, thank you so much. It's so good to see you. Thank you. Democratic nominee, Texas 23rd Congressional District. Good to see you this evening. We're going to be right back. And that is tonight's Last Word. The 11th hour, hosted by Catherine Rempel, starts now. Hey, Catherine, what do you have tonight?
We have a lot of great conversation coming, including with one of the Democrats who is running in Florida's 25th district, near where I grew up, in fact, and really trying to hold on to that seat, which Republicans are trying to flip post-gerrymander. But I want to talk to you actually about that fantastic interview with the General Services Administration guy, the Public Buildings Commissioner. Wow. There is going to be a lot of damage that needs to get undone after this administration is out the door.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about this with a team on Steph Rule's show the other day during her group chat, that I think there are all these investigations to come with this administration, right? I think there's a lot of talk right now about corruption and the financial crimes, but there's also, I think, a story that voters want to hear about what they feel are the physical crimes of this administration. And I think they want to start hearing people walk through all of the literal and physical reversals, their plan for restoration, how some of the sites and places that matter to them so much in this country will either be improved or brought back to what they once were. That is a huge piece of the conversation that I'm not sure is sort of brought together with the financial side of it. But I think it's coming, Catherine.
Yeah, there's going to be a whole lot of restoration that needs to happen, both of the physical and metaphysical kind, certainly coming up.
Well, Catherine, have a great show tonight.
The 11th hour starts now. Tonight, the Navy rushes a new warship to the Middle East to relieve the long-deployed USS Abraham Lincoln following fallout over the horrific conditions on board. But the president says its time at sea was not nearly long enough. Plus, Florida tests its new GOP favored map as more election deniers make it onto the ballot. I'll speak to a